Welcome back to another video on the channel in Dad's Garage, a channel devoted to general DIY projects. Today, you've joined me in Dad's bar, or more specifically known, Oscar's bar. So Oscar's our family dog, and in 2020 we named this bar after him in homage to Oscar the family pet, who actually isn't dead yet, but at some point he will be. And when he is dead, then it will officially be a homage bar to Oscar the family dog. Anyway, we digress. So cheers and welcome to Oscar's bar. No, I'm only joking. Actually, it's 9:30 on a Saturday morning and there isn't even anything in this can. And secondly, who the hell drinks Carlin anyway? Definitely don't drink Carlin in Oscar's bar. So, I've got a cracking new little video series for you, a little DIY video series. So back in 2020, when we hit lockdown, most of us, or most of you, built some kind of bar or self-catering watering hole in your backyard or garden to basically fill the need and urge to be able to go to a local pub, which we weren't allowed to do. So in 2020, during the early period of lockdown, before timber prices and material prices went through the roof, I built this DIY home garden bar, aka Oscar's bar, and it's been a cracking little space. Over the last 4 years, we've had some great parties. I've had some great nights here on my own, working through the vodka and the various other optics. But generally, all speaking, it's been a cracking little addition to the garden. However, more and more now, we're getting more friends around and we're having more people around just for little gatherings and little parties. And this being in the garden, it's self-contained, so we don't wake the kids up in the house. It's a great little self-contained, almost like noise cancelling, not noise cancelling, soundproof room. So we can have as much noise and as much laughter and chaos and party mode going on in here as we wanted. But we finally outgrown this bar. It's been a cracking little space. You've got a couch there that you can fit a couple of people on. You've got 2 bar stools here for 2 more people. And then you have your resident bar steward that stands behind the bar and caters for everyone. So 5 people is comfortably snug. But I think it's about time we got rid of that hot tub. We moved that over there to another part of the garden. And that's going to be a different series, a different project where I'm going to build a massive erection. But for this video series, I'm going to extend the bar. I'm going to take this wall out. I'm going to move it back. I'm going to put another wall in. And we might even do some other quirky things, and we might even build a new bar while we're on. So if you like the sound of that, stay tuned, watch the rest of this video, and watch the rest of the videos, and don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like. Right, come on, let's crack on. So I think the first thing we're going to need to do is drain this hot tub, get it moved, and then we can assess the space here and work out what we need to do. As I mentioned, the plan is to move this wall here back to there and then extend this wall across here. So basically we gain the whole of this space for the inside of the bar. Right, let's get this big boy drained and moved. Okay, we'll leave that for an hour. I'll check back with you in a minute. There we go, it's new home for the time being. As I mentioned guys, I'm going to build a massive erection here, but I'll tell you about that in the next video. So that's the hot tub moved, and you can see now we've got quite a lot of extra space. It's about, from here to here, 2.4 metres, and from here to here, 1.8 metres. So quick maths, that's around about 4.3 extra square meters of space, which is quite a lot when you consider we're going to move this wall back to here within this frame. So that will give us, on the inside of the bar, all this additional floor space here. So that wall will go straight back in that frame, as I've just said. This couch will probably move all the way back there. And then what I think we'll do is we'll build a bar that goes across this whole back wall to there. And then we'll move the TV more in the centre. So the bar originally was built into the shape of the bar, because the bar kind of comes in at an angle. It's not a full square, it's in an angle like that, just to match the boundaries of the garden. So the bar's not the best, it's just more of a tokenistic bar really. It served its purpose, but it would be quite nice to get a full bar that goes the length of this wall with some fridges there, because we're going to have the space now. And then what we can do is review what this space looks like, but all in all, we're going to have a much bigger floor space. We'll probably get a little table, a little bar table and chairs, and we're going to have effectively a dance floor now, which is what every good garden bar needs for those late night shindigs. You know what I'm talking about. Right, let me walk you through the jobs I need to do in order to get this wall moved backwards, and I'll tell you what the first thing is I'm going to do before we do our residential trip to B&Q to get more materials. Okay, come on. So I reckon the first job to do is take off this panelling at the back, but really carefully, because I'm going to reuse that panelling for this wall here. So I'm going to take it off really carefully, but in order to do that I need to move this board off, and then I need to take this trim off, and then once I've done that I then need to take this cladding off the roof as well. So I'm going to do that first rather than the floor, because that way I've got something to stand on while I'm doing it. But if I take that off first, expose the stud-work behind, take the cladding off the roof, expose the roof joists, and then we'll concentrate on the floor. So I have taken up a test board here. Now the problem I've got is when I laid this, it was, what, 4 years ago? So the screws went into the board when it was probably damp, still a bit wet, and the wood's just kind of covered it, and it's been full of crap and paint, so I can't actually get the screw head into the screws to take the screws out. So unfortunately I'm going to have to prise all of these up, expose the screws, and then take them out with some pliers or vice grips. So that's going to be a bit of a painful process. But before I do the floor and expose the joists, we'll take that back wall out, we'll take the cladding off the roof. That'll give us a good idea of the framework from the outside, and then once that's done I might then do the floor, so we've got again workable space. And then the next job after that will be then coming back inside, and what we'll do is we'll take the plasterboard off the inside of there, because as I've said earlier, I want to keep the outside as intact as possible, so I can just basically unscrew that studded wall and move it right back to the far side. So that's my plan, that's my theory. I'm going to hit to a time lapse now. I'll let you know if there's any problems encountered or if there's any workarounds I figure out along the way. But let's cut to a time lapse and see if we can get this done rather quickly. You need to come with me and see the size of this spider. Jesus. Where's he gone? Oh, he's gone. Oh, there he is. He's massive. Ooh! Fuck me. For a UK spider, that's pretty big. Too big for me. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the ceiling had twinkly Rolls-Royce style lights. So every single one of these boards has a load of wires attached to it. Nice. scared of any wasps. Each one I'm taking off, I'm taking these rusty nails out as I go to avoid tetanus further down the line. Right guys, that's the back wall off, fairly easy. Let's expose the stud-work. This wasp is not happy. He was making a little nest just up here. He must have just started and I caught him just in time, got rid of it, and the bottom bit of it is just there, you can see. And whoa, and he's not happy. Get away. You can see it. So, other than trying not to get stung by this massive wasp, look at him. He's still looking for it. It's not there, mate, it's gone. And you will be too if you don't piss off. Anyway, the back walls are done. Other than wrestling with that wasp, it was fairly easy. What I need to do next is take off the rest of this cladding up here and avoid Mr. Wasp. But what I have found is the massive spider is either back or it's got a friend and it's hiding just up here. Let me see if you can see it. I'm not even lying. If that runs on my hand or falls on me, I will squeal like a choir girl or choir boy, whichever one squeals the loudest. That is not my favourite thing in the world, spiders. Look, that wasp's back. Look at him. Anyway, enough of the wildlife distractions. What I'm going to do now is start and take the rest of this paneling down and get all these wires out. And then that'll expose the roof. And then once we've done those two parts, we can do the floor. Right, wish me luck, let's crack on. Whoa. He's up like that, ready? So you do that. So when I did this, I had to screw or drill holes in every single one of these lengths and feed these fairy lights or Christmas lights, whatever you want to call them, in every single hole. There's a surprise for my wife. Oh, she's a lucky lady. Whose idea it was for fairy lights? Jesus. In the bin. Okay guys, so that's the roof exposed. I've just taken the couple of lats across the top of that wall just to expose the top parts. So hopefully we'll be able to manoeuvre that out in one piece, as I've said. The next job we're going to do now is get this floor up. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to sacrifice these boards and get the pry tool and pop them off because these screws, there's just no head left of them. So I can't screw them out, so it's going to be a bit of a pain, but we'll just have to make do and get on with it. So let's go to a time lapse, get these boards up, and then we'll assess what's underneath and what we need to do next. Crack on. So I've just spent about 20 minutes and I've only managed to get 3 boards off because these screws are just an absolute pig. So I've got screws on this row, screws on the end row, and screws down the middle. I'm getting to the point where these boards are now underneath the cladding for this. So rather than pursue and trying to force up full boards, I'm just going to sacrifice these boards because I'm not going to use them for anything else anyway. So I'm going to cut length down there that gives me a bit of leverage to get these screws out here, and then cut length down there that gives me leverage to get those off, and then I can just jam these middle chunk bits left off with a crowbar after. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. So let's crack on and give this a go. Right guys, so that's the floor up. It started off really difficult, but then once I got the saw out, it made light work of that, so loads easier. Right, next job. Put some noggins in there, clear all this crap up, and then we're going to get the mother-in-law on camera, because she's watching and she's dying to be part of the video. No. Clear this crap up, and then we'll go in the bar and start taking that plasterboard out. So all this needs to come out. So I'm going to get the messy jobs done in this video, and in the next video we can concentrate more on the joinery side of things. So let's crack on with that. I'm sweating. 23 degrees today. Whew. Right, so that's the sign down. Next job we're going to do, strip off this plasterboard. And to do that, I've got a special little tool. Enter my son's little junior saw. I don't know where he got that from, but it looks pretty dangerous. Too dangerous for him, so it was confiscated. But anyway, I think it's going to be perfect for the plasterboard. So I'm going to use this bad boy to get this off. Let's crack on. So I have disconnected the electrics, and I've turned the electrics off at the mains. So there is an outhouse connection that goes to our main fuse box. That's been turned off, and obviously that unit's tripped up there. So I shouldn't really have any bother with electrics when I start stripping this off, but I'm still going to be really careful not to cut through any wires, because I'm going to need those wires just to extend them when I move that back wall back. Well, I'm not. My mate Dave, the electrician, is going to do it. Damn wasp. We've actually got access now to the screws now. Rip that off. It's pulled the, what it's called now, the joining tape off, so we can undo these screws. That'll make life a little bit easier. There we go guys, most of the plasterboard off now. There's just that little bit up here. Pull it off. Let's see if we can get that with a screwdriver. There it is, here. I think it's just glued on this bit. There we go. So, that wasn't too bad really. So next job, let's get this cleaned up and then I'll take the insulation out, expose any of the wiring that's there that needs to be rerouted, and then hopefully that'll give us access to the screws along the bottom of the stud-work that hold this wall into the roof joists and the floor. And in theory, in the next video, we can take this glass out, kill that bee, take the screws that connect this window frame into that joist, and then take the whole wall back, in theory. Anyway, let's get this cleaned up, let's get that stuffing out, insulation out, and then see how things are looking. Right guys, PPE is on, and yes, this is a pink mask. We've got a jacket, which I'm roasting in, pink mask, goggles, gloves. As you know, safety first on this channel. So the next job, we're going to take off this vapor barrier, and then we're going to carefully get this insulation out and put it into some bin liners to keep it safe and dry. Once all that's out, we'll be able to have a look and assess where the screws are, so we know what we need to do in order to hopefully take out this wall in one piece. So let's crack on and get this insulation out. It's worked really well, this insulation. It's kept the bar really warm in the winter and, most importantly, soundproof. Right, let's get all of this in these bin liners. Woo! Easy! Right, let's get this PP off, because I am sweating. Whew. Right, let's have a look at this wall. Right, so here we are. The wall is exposed. I've just had a look around it, and what I've found is I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws along the bottom. There's a screw there on the side. I'm guessing there's one just behind that electric box there. I've got one at the top there, 2 little ones there, and I would imagine again there's one hiding somewhere in that corner. So about 6 or 7 screws. There's a couple here as well that I'm only going to get access to, so I think I'm going to have to take this window frame out. So when I take the glass out, I'm going to have to take this frame out, which is just a few screws into that timber. So it might be easier to take that window out to then negotiate both that wall and that window back. I think this is going to need maybe about 100 mil, 10 centimetres trimming off, but we'll work that out when we get to it. But all in all, for the first day of getting everything prepared, not a bad day's work. So if you like this video and you're keen to see how I get on with the rest of this bar extension, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. In the next video, I'll be taking this wall out, moving it back, putting the new floor down, and hopefully getting the new structure of this extended bar in place and at least weather tight. But until then, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.